I woke up while nature was sound asleep, so I could marvel at its kingdom. I strolled through its lush gardens and saw every little wonder up close. Here, you can dance with giants, discover a feast for the eyes, and a feast for the appetite. Walls that hold heroes' stories told me of their bravery, while sacred places blessed my journey. I roamed places that stood the test of time, and others that were there since the beginning.
Every day, I wake up to a feast. Where I can sink my teeth into history. Or shock my taste buds with something new. It's here I learned the color of sweetness, expanded my pantry, and my appetite. Every next bite only leaves you hungry for more.
I just woke up from the time of my life. It started with a major throwback. Then I got to meet the big shots. I found a sweet spot between cultures and hung out with the artsy crowd. I even picked up a few things along the way. After that, things kicked into overdrive. It started with a whirlwind through the streets, an unforgettable eats, a celebration of flavor in every bite, and an epic new party at every turn. The best thing about it here, the good times are never over.
Now boarding GPSTV. I'm Aya Fernandez, your online travel buddy. Join me again as we navigate through your own favorite destinations, making sure, of course, to #go safe, go travel. And today we will be joined by women entrepreneurs and philanthropists who are very much involved in innovative and sustainable livelihood for Philippine communities. Ano nga ba yung agri-tourism and health tourism? Yan, pag-uusapan natin yan ngayong araw. And we will be hearing very inspiring stories from these empowered women. Ako pa lang, binabasa ko pa lang yung outline for today's episode, sobrang nai-inspire na ako agad. So much more kapag nakarinig na tayo from them. And mamaya malalaman natin kung ano nga ba yung kanilang mga kwento, kung paano sila nagkaroon ng kumikitang pangkabuhayan, yung mga kailangan natin yan. And to top that, it is something that extends to the community very well. Although of course, we do not celebrate our loss and hardship, hindi ko maitatangging tayong mga Pinoy ay maparaan at matatag kahit ano pa yung iba to sa atin, di ba? Nakaka-agree kayo dyan. And lalo na ngayon, di ba? Together, we have become more resilient with greater clarity and motivation. We will heal with the nation ng sama-sama, hand in hand, bayanihan. And kaya naman tawagin na natin ang ating inspiring women today. Our first guest, she is the president of liquor maker Distilleria Limtuaco, which now produces sanitizers and disinfectants. Wow. And she was the only businesswoman from the Philippines to make it to the magazine's 2020 Asia's Power Businesswoman, the roster of outstanding women. She is also the publisher and president of Foresight Book Publishing and Distributing Company, Asian Dragon Magazine, the first bilingual business and lifestyle magazine in the Philippines. Miss Olivia Limpeao.
Hello, good afternoon. Hi, Aya. It's a
Hello.
pleasure to be with you here at this show.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much also for being here, Miss Olivia. We'll hear from you later on. Our next guest, let me introduce her now. She gives back to the community through several gardening and community livelihood initiatives. As a young female philanthropist, or businesswoman, the long-term vision is to heal and sustain through gardening. Women as healers, gardeners, and entrepreneurs by putting creativity, spirituality, and sustainability at the business. So projects lined up include holistic well-being and empowerment programs for the Filipino people and our guests. She is Ms. Regine Guevara, the founder of Urban Greens Communes.
Hi, Aya.
Hello, magandang hapon po, Ms. Regine.
One of the founders of Urban Green Communes, marami naman kami.
Oh, malalaman pa po namin ang inyong kwento mamaya later on. Thank you so much. Our third guest, she is the principal directress of Our Lady of Lourdes School of Novaliches and Lourdes School, Pampanga. She is the current president of Soroptimist International of the Americas, Nova Central, Dr. Maria Lourdes Ocampo. Hello, good afternoon, Miss Lourdes.
I'm so happy to see all of you. Thank you for inviting me here. And I will learn more. Though I'm 70 years old, I'm still learning and working. So I learned a lot of things from today's seminar, what you call this meeting.
Wow, we will definitely learn from you. Thank you. Our next guest, she is the director of Soroptimist International Nova Central, and the club was awarded twice for outstanding program and advocacy performance during her term. Soroptimist International programs and livelihood projects are geared to empower community women and uplift their lives through continued education and training and financial competitive grants to deserving women leaders. She is an economist and the founding president of the International Marian Association at the Department of Agrarian Reform. She's also currently developing a virtual platform for roundtable discussions with the theme Bouncing Back the Economy Forward to Resilience Synergies. I would also like to acknowledge, later on na yan. This amazing woman is no other than Miss Editha Rosario.
Good afternoon, Miss Aya. I'm so glad that you gave us the chance to be with you this afternoon and share our different platforms.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we could slowly open the economy to a better new normal.
Yeah. Actually, I like the word that you said, na a better new normal, since we came from a position of at freeze, the velocity of our economy is at freeze. And now we're gradually going back. And later on, we will talk about that more. But at this point, I would like to also acknowledge the presence of Miss Carissa Echeverri Santos. She's the district director of Metro Manila Northeast District of the Soroptimist International of the Americas Philippines region, who's also watching us right now. Magandang hapon po. And of course, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat na nanonood sa Facebook and YouTube. You are, guys, I'm for sure gonna learn so much more this afternoon. Diba? Palupit ng palupit ang ating discussions kada episode. So before we start, mabuhay, welcome to GPS TV, our dear guests. And before, I'd like to start this discussion by asking you of your story of your why, like how you started your business ventures, where you are right now. Let's start with Miss Regine.
My story, it's really a family story. It's not just my story. So I come from a family of farmers. My grandparents were farmers from Bicol. Wow. But I myself was raised in Manila. Unfortunately, actually, because, I was raised like an urban girl. I was studying here. So honestly, I really don't know much of what I'm about to say. It's like I've only started a few years ago, and I'm really here to learn from our other female mentors.
Oh, nice. So what was your profession before you got into the business venture?
I have been working for the UN. So I was based in New York and in Malaysia. So somehow, interested na ako in sustainability, in community empowerment. Ayun. So when I came back here, parang I just connected what we have here, our family business and our farms, with my advocacy.
Mm-hmm. And may I ask, what made you decide to be part of the business venture?
It's really trying to trace maybe like my roots, reconnect with my roots, and especially nowadays where ang dumadami yung mga bagyo, there are so many disasters, and really our region, the Bicol region, is one of the most it's the first stricken most of the time. So it's a desire to give back to the community, and then also parang try to merge both worlds, kaya through yung tinatawag na social business or social enterprise, like how do we continue to help communities while at the same time sustaining our businesses.
All right. How about you, Miss Olivia? We're very curious your story of why or how you started.
Well, like Regine, Distillery Alimtuaco is also a family business. It's the oldest distillery in the Philippines, so I didn't start it. I'm fifth generation. So my role really in this lifetime is really to continue with the legacy of our family, to continue making distilled spirits and wine products. But of course, being a woman, I had to find something that I would be interested in doing, but since I'm not really a hard liquor drinker. And so that's why I thought of coming up with our line of craft spirits using Filipino fruits and produce that are endemic to the Philippines. And I use a lot of the Filipino brands or Filipino names, to promote it, not just in the local market, but in the international market as well. So I guess like Edith and like you, coming from UP, talagang itaas ang bandera ng Pilipinas. Yan ang ating battle cry. No? So we really have to do something that will put the Philippines on the world map. I mean, no matter how difficult it may be, no matter how far we are from reaching our objective, I think, as they say, a 1,000-mile journey begins with a single step, right? And you take it one step at a time. So I think that's really what we should, we hope that everybody would aim to do in their life, so that we could help our economy improve, and our country to be known.
Yeah. And I like how you emphasize that to put the Philippines in the world map. Something or anything that would represent, symbolize us as a nation would definitely make everyone proud as a Filipino. Thank you so much.
That's really what we need these days. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Olivia. How about you, Sis Edith? What is your story of humble beginnings?
My humble beginnings would be from the Department of Agrarian Reform, where I started the International Marian Association. We would organize Marian exhibits and other theme exhibits that would help eco-friendly technologies to become resilient to climate change. And then we also host pilgrim tours, which we would like to develop into agri-tourism. We're really trying to link it to agri-tourism. For example, the latest that we went to was in Our Lady of Manawag Shrine, where we did a side tour to the sunflower farms, and it was amazing. However, the rains were starting to come, and they were already harvesting the sunflowers, so we didn't get the view of the 1,000 sunflowers.
Oh, sayang.
Which makes you feel that it's time, sometime we will be back and view the 1,000 sunflowers again. And then just lately, I've noticed in the market, they're already selling olive oil with sunflower seed or sunflower oil.
Oh, nice.
And they're selling sunflower seeds. So they're creating market niche in their own little ways. And I'm happy about this industry.
Sis Edith, di ba nagkaroon din po kayo ng seminars ng face masks and travel pillows? How did it go?
Yes, about the sustainable livelihood. That was the theme for Seroptimus International, where I used to be the president. We have livelihood programs that we tied up with our barangay and test the schools of Mamlu Ocampo. We held a training for the production of throw pillows, travel pillows, and face masks. But that was even before the pandemic and the lockdowns. That was right after the eruption of Taal volcano. And then our barangay also held seminars in partnership with the TESDA, in which the adopted barangay held trainings for bread making or baking. And now they have also incorporated some more new angles under the banner of our new president, immediate past district director Lu Ocampo, and now current president of SI Nova Central. I was lucky during my term because she was district director then when I was president. All our members from the club, where she's charter president, she founded the club, SI Nova Central. She recruited me to the club after I became president of the Parent Teacher Association of her school for one term.
What year was that?
That was in 2008. So I've been serving community through Seroptimus International for several years now.
Nice.
It's a long journey before I became president.
Definitely. Thank you, Sis Edith.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing us your humble beginnings and how you got to where you are now. How about you, Miss Lourdes? Nabanggit nyo nga po kanina, kayo po ay 7 years old na. So aside from me being curious to know the secret behind being fresh at 70, how did you start to where you are now?
Well, back 1985, I envisioned to have a school, and the hard work was materialized, and I was able to put up one school, that's Our Lady of Lourdes School of Novaliches. Now it's already 35 years of fruitful service in the field of education, and as a community leader, a BSE Ed graduate, now I'm a doctoral graduate already. And we have envisioned putting up a family-owned and operated school through the guidance and encouragement of the parents of Novaliches area and these friends and our friends. I, having a widow for 6 years, married to Pablos Ocampo, the third a businessman and a graduate of Ateneo of Manila. My daughter, Donna, and Anna Lu are both educators too, and my youngest is in Las Vegas, married, and my eldest is Donna Lu, is now heading the Pampanga Lourdes School on February 11, 1985. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
So then, having put up one school, Mount Pinatubo erupted, and then I was able to put up another school in Pampanga. So then, both are operating at this moment. It's offering preschool to grade 11. Simultaneously, I am so envisioned to work in the community, like joining Suroptimis International of the Americas, wherein Philippines is a region, and I became the district director last year.
Miss Lourdes, I'd like to ask, so building the school was a family venture, or was it from your previous profession?
Actually, it's a family venture. My husband and wife, and then my children grew up in a school environment, and they are continuing it now. And so it's a private school. We offer, on the first few years, in the beginning, we offered preschool to grade 3, and then another year, grade 4 to grade 6, and then another year, grade first year to fourth year. And now I have grade 12. So,
K-12 na po kasi, no?
Also, we have TESDA subjects, curriculum, where we offer bartending, housekeeping, and food and beverages.
Wow. Very inclusive to all kids, to all primary and secondary
primary,
students.
secondary, actually preschool, primary, intermediate, junior, and now senior.
Yes,
so,
kasi K-12 na po tayo.
Yeah. Lahat ng curriculum natin are having their online lessons. And what's nice about it is, true enough, I'm 70 years old, but still ongoing. I'm now in the office doing packaging for a recertification of our PAYAC approval. PAYAC is an assistance to private schools. And once you pass this, you'll be given vouchers, something like that.
Thank you. So, thank you, Ms. Lourdes, for sharing us how you started. And ang inspiring how the disaster from Mount Pinatubo brought you to building a school. Now, Ms. Regine, paano po nagsimula yung mga taxi drivers and mechanics sa kanilang herbal and floral medicine using lagundi and serpentina? Correct me if I'm wrong. Ang ganda po niyan sa pangangatawan and well-being.
Yes. Hindi pa siya hindi pa siya business of the drivers themselves, but for now they use it for themselves and their own family. So I guess somehow nakakatulong yun. And then our gardens also have mga edible produce. So minsan pag mababa yung boundary, yun yung take home nila. Kasi alam niyo yun, diba? Pag nag-hit na ng MECQ or PCQ or MCQ na hindi na pumapasada yung mga drivers. So that's how we thought of putting up a farm in our garage, in our taxi garage. So Davis Taxi. Kasi we have spare land in our garage, in our taxi garage. So yun, there's soil because our garage is in Rizal. And then may mga trees na naman doon. So dinagdagan na lang namin during the lockdown ng mga edible produce. And then
how many drivers and mechanics do you have, like a range?
We have about 100.
And then they are allowed to plant and harvest doon sa land beside their parang taxi place, ganon?
Yes. After nilang mamasada, babalik sila, and then sa kanila na yon and sa amin. So it's a community effort. And actually, sobrang, ang dami ngayon, di ba, mga plantito-plantita. So ngayon, pati plantito na rin.
Ang galing, ano. And ano po to? Parang kayo po yung nag-fund ng mga tinatanim nila or sila rin po? Just
joint effort because actually it's not too hard, to do urban farming, especially sa kanila na maraming galing sa probinsya. So meron na silang traditional knowledge of kung what works, what doesn't work, ganyan. So, paminsan kanya-kanyang dala. And then, of course, nag-provide na rin kami, kumuha sa DA, of course, nagpapamigay din ng seeds.
Yes.
It wasn't too hard.
Galing. And also I'm curious also yung seminars, yung how they do it. They just really know how to do it.
Yes, you'll be surprised. And that's something that I realized also during the pandemic na ang dami nating local knowledge from the community that's often untapped. So dun talaga dito sa lumabas yung potential of the local and yung mga ating mga tao na talagang nasa community kasi dun sila nag-shine.
Galing. Thank you, Mr. Jean. So sa mga meron ding lupa dyan na bakante, you might want to do and start something similar to theirs. Thank you, Mr. Jean. Miss Olivia, how did you expand or shift your business from producing liquors to hand sanitizers and disinfectants, diba? Parang alcohol din, pero ibang gamit lang.
So it was an opportunity brought about by the ECQ. At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, we kind of like already realized, we felt that, it would produce a shortage in the market, right? Because
bawal ng events. Yeah.
Oh, hindi. The alcohol, parang mahirap mag-import, diba? So parang if there is an immediate surge in demand, usually businesses cannot move that fast because we use a lot of imported materials as well, right? We don't have enough supplies in the local market. And so we thought that, I think we were already preparing that maybe if there is a shortage, we should be ready to come in and assist and help the market, increase the supply, so we can help the people, because there was a time when there was a scramble to get alcohol, right? So with the help of DTI, we were able to get our product. And first, we were able to get our company registered, to get our license to operate as a cosmetic manufacturer, because alcohol is under cosmetics. And then after that, we had our product also registered it's called the product notification under cosmetics. So instead of a product registration, it's a notification of product for cosmetic products. And since we were in a hurry, to come up with something, we used like our whiskey bottles like this.
Yeah.
To make into alcohol. And this was so kasi diba, you don't have time to buy.
Yeah.
You don't have time. So it's like, what do you have in stock? What do you have in your warehouse? What can you put together so that you can help bridge the supply gap, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we offered. So it comes in 2 sizes, and we offered it to Mercury Drug, and they were very happy. Up to this day, it's been sold in Mercury Drug. So it has become sort of a collectible, no? But of course, to be able to do that, we had to study the regulation, because we are a liquor manufacturer, and there are different laws and regulations that apply to the sanitizer product. So your team really has to study well, and we needed to comply. And it's good that we have our own engineering team in-house. So we're able to refit our plant, make the necessary equipment and improvements and revisions in the plant to be able to do it. So I think by the end of March, we already had a product.
Wow.
So, yun. And
ang bilis ng R&D.
Oo, kasi actually, this is easier than making liquor. Okay. Liquor is one of the most difficult. So it was easy for us. And then if I may add lang to what Regine and you were talking about, Aya, regarding urban agriculture. So this is one of the first, this is the second book I published. I'm also in the publishing business. It's called Urban Agriculture. And this has been in the market since 2004. We're still selling it because you can't take away the agriculture it's in our blood, no? We are an agricultural society, and there are a lot of people, even in urban areas, who are very interested in agriculture. It's just now talagang there's more awareness and more interest. So this is a step-by-step guide. They can buy this also in Lazada if it's difficult to go to National Bookstore. But I mean, imagine from 2004 up to now, we're still selling it, no? So there's really parang you can't take away the agri in our blood. Talagang it's in our DNA, no? We really like agriculture. So I hope that more people will go into agriculture because it's really what we need. Even for our products, the problem is always raw material supply.
Yes.
So we have bought a lot of our ingredients, no, our agricultural ingredients from cooperatives, no, and we are we're very grateful to like the DA before because they linked us with the communities that grow these products, and so we're able to buy from cooperatives. And now we're also going to work with EDIF, no, with the Department of Agrarian Reform. Hopefully, we can also expand our supply chain to communities, not to DAR communities. We're going to take a look at that also.
Amazing how you have adapted to the times using the existing resources that you have. Kasi when you mentioned na you had to register as a new company, naisip ko na, parang nagtayo talaga ng different, separate entity completely. But then, you mentioned na ginamit yung existing yung bottles. ROI naman po agad.
Okay naman kasi it's existing But we didn't have to put up another company. It's still under Limtuaco.
Okay.
But we had to get a separate license to operate as a cosmetic.
As cosmetics.
So you have to really, I think, talagang you have to understand regulatory compliance. Even in education, in whatever industry, regulatory compliance is really one of the most difficult. So anybody who wants to go into business must make sure they understand their industry, they know what is required of them to be in that industry because nothing is easy. May technical stuff talaga that you can't escape.
Thank you, Ms. Olivia. Yung innovation through evolving and through the hard times. Thank you. Ms. Lourdes, I'd like to ask you, since kayo po, sabi niyo nga po, again, 70 years old, ano po yung mabibigay yung tips sa ating audiences who'd like to get into the type of business same as yours?
Before I go to that, is it okay if I react to Ma'am Olivia and Ma'am Reggie?
Yeah, of course.
Because being the president of SI Nova Central, we have this 3 months ago, some donations of seeds, 500 seeds, and distribution of pads and soil from Joy Belmonte, our mayor. And now my daughter, who is part of Soroptimis in Novaliches, is sharing about 350 square meters area. Now we are into urban farming. I heard that Reggie and Ma'am Olivia has very good contributions about the urban agriculture book from Ma'am Olivia. And Ma'am Reggie, your expertise in putting plants together. Now I'm just starting. Although we have squash already, we have tomato, we have mustards, and we are still in the seedling type. So the seeds that we have are still that small, but keeping up with the 300 square meters vacant lot area in front of our school, we are putting it up, and I would like to be assisted to expertise like them. So now, being an educator, I'm still here serving the community because I'm so glad President Edith put me here in this webinar, and it's my chance to meet all of this expertise in agriculture. Like I learned from your book, ma'am. Maybe you can share me your book. Our address is Our Lady of Lourdes School of Novaliches. You can just send it there.
Miss Lourdes, saan niyo po balak magtanim? Nung na-mention niyo, squash is one of the things that you're planning to plant.
I have started planting and it's crawling. And
Diyan po sa Novaliches?
dito po sa Novaliches, inside sa Barte Subdivision, Novaliches, Quezon
I
City, in
see,
front of
I
my
see.
school.
Nice. Ngayon po, tips po sa mga gustong magkaroon ng business tulad ninyo sa education sector.
Come again.
Tips? What are the tips that you can give?
Some tips for my putting up a school. Well, you're determined and your ambition is to fulfill and to serve the community is there. If you're not patient enough to push through all these details in education, like now, the online is something new for me and for my teachers. But still, what do we have to do? Keep it up. Continue. Move on. And then learn. That's the tip I can give you. Open your minds and keep learning every day. That's the best thing that I can think of. Sharing my tips. Patience, love, commitment. Dedication is one. And you have to be hands-on. Number one is hands-on. At 70, I'm supposed to be retired. But still, when I wake up, which my house is a walking distance from my school, I still have to dial my phone, my cell phone and my telephone and my computer email so I can communicate with Pampanga. I can communicate with my school in Pampanga, with my farm in Pampanga. I have pala manggahan. I have 80 trees of mangoes who are interested to buy it from me because I'm old already. I cannot manage the manggahan anymore. It's for sale. But I have yielded so much baskets and baskets of mangoes in Pampanga. But since now I am into a nearby urban farming, because being the president of SI Nova Central, Livelihood is one of the trusts. So I have urban farming, I have tacos making, small cookies making for Christmas, and then I have also bracelet making. The bracelet making,
sakto po yan ngayong Pasko, And speaking of mango trees, gaya ng farm nila, Miss Regine. Miss Regine, I'm very curious what tips you can give to our aspiring viewers who would want to have sustainable livelihood like yours.
Usually when we think about innovation, parang the first thing that comes to our head is technology. So what we did with our taxi drivers, it's not really something new, right? It's not also some new invention, but it was about thinking outside the box and turning crisis into an opportunity. So we have a situation where our drivers are having a hard time, and at the same time it affects our business. But because we put our people first, I think that's a good lesson to learn from this pandemic. Like, you invest on people because eventually that will reap loyalty. Our drivers are still with us, thank God, and at the same time that will eventually reap profit. So yung prosperity and profit, it will come if the values are in place. I think that's important.
Thank you. Human capital, as they call it. But what do you think? How would you consider something as a sustainable livelihood?
That's part of it. Like, there are different pillars. So human capital is part of it. And then, of course, andyan yung the usual, you have to have financial capital. And then looking at also nowadays, yung natural capital, natural resource, because we know naman na the effects of climate change are felt, right? So we have to consider looking at how does our businesses contribute to reducing wastes, or maybe trying to recycle, reuse resources so that we can in general, like, contribute not only to sustainability of our businesses but also of the community, because really it's all interrelated. I think that's what sustainability is about, yung interrelatedness natin.
Yes. And parang one process goes to another, and then there's a cycle. Thank you.
Dagdag ko lang, in relation to farming kasi when I spoke about, reducing wastes, we also do composting. So yung wastes that are generated in our that one we do here in our village. We have a urban farm. So the waste we generate, we try to do a circular economy. So ayun, and then eventually nagiging fertilizers yung compost nung na ginagawa ng mga kapitbahay namin, and that's part of the whole ecosystem of sustainability. So reduce costs, reduce wastes, yon.
Thank you, Mr. Jean. Diba? Reduce waste ka na nga, reduce cost ka pa. Now, I'd like to ask something, and anyone can answer. How does agro-tourism work? Like, what are the things to be expected when you go on agro-tourism trip?
A motion or something that is being developed. Concurrently, before, it was a thrust because of the demand for organic materials. Also, if you notice in some Asian countries, the more urbanized sites like Singapore, their plants are in a museum because they hardly have farmlands. They have very little land space for farming. In Malaysia, they already are into urban rooftop farming. However, here in the Philippines, it's still being proposed for consideration because basically our country is an agricultural country. So during the time of the pandemic, when we had to operate on a closed economy model, it was only the agricultural sector, and this sector we share with the Department of Agriculture because our thrust is only to share or distribute lands to our farmers so that they could have free management of their farming of different crops. As Ms. CEO Olivia here mentioned earlier, they are also, since she went on an expansion program, they are also trying to create safe market access to farms by contracting farmlands with our farmer beneficiaries. She was invited by no less than our department Secretary Brother John Castriciones, to venture or partner with our agrarian farm beneficiaries. At this point, I would like to link agro-tourism to the safe access of farm produce to and from the market and to the farm. Yes, because there was a time their products or their harvests would get spoiled, they're perishable. They had problems with the lockdowns. They could not transport their produce to the end consumers or to the regular markets. So if we could link this up, as we slowly open up the economy, in fact, I think tourism is already opening up. Yes. We could probably charter some tours that could also visit these agritourism farms like the sunflower farms and other organic farms that we are already trying to promote because they're healthier. And we had health tourism, beauty and wellness tourism in the Philippines. I think that is the core of the health tourism in the Philippines. So hopefully we could create some guidelines and policies to make this more implementable. And of course, we were also thinking that we could design dispensers for commercial areas or the souvenir and pasalubong centers in our tourism farms, so that the patrons would be safe and complying with health protocols. Actually. So I think it will start to open up gradually, and even the stock market is starting to pick up these days. Unfortunately, there is a trend in the real estate. They're trying to buffer, I think, or forecast the increasing rates for real estate because of the land space. The Philippines is an archipelago. We are more of bodies of water, and there's less land space in our area. So the thrust is for vertical developments, meaning mid, low to high-rise buildings. And maybe sometime in the future, we will be adopting to urban farm gardening or farming. But as early as the early 20th, early 2000s, they are already implementing edible farming or edible landscaping in UP Los Baños.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there are some impressive landscapes they have already created, and it's worth also looking into. I think that's about it.
Yeah, and I guess, Sis Edith, with what you've raised, it will inspire more viewers to focus more on agriculture, and hopefully there would be a balance between real estate ventures and agriculture, diba? Hindi pa naman huli ang lahat kung lahat tayo magtutulong-tulong. Anyway, ang dami nating kailangang i-take down notes, but talagang inspiring ang storya ng bawat isa sa inyo. It's really unique, and from my point of view, personally, it's no words less than inspiring. Solid talaga ang Filipino communities. And pagkabalik natin, mas lalo pa nating matututunan kung paano ba maging solid at resilient ng isang buhay negosyante. We'll be right back. Mabuhay everyone! Welcome back. You're still with me, Aya Fernandez, your online travel buddy. Let's continue the conversation with our innovative women in business. And here on GPS TV's Journeys, we want you to go with us sa mga learnings, sa mga tips, kung ano nga ba yung mga pwede natin gawin para makatulong sa ekonomiya at sa tourism industry. Now, let's take a moment each day to be mindful and keep a positive mindset. Now, how do you plan to grow or help communities in this global situation? I believe a lot of you have been doing your own initiatives and projects now, but would you mind to break it down even more and tell us more about it?
And I'm glad you mentioned yung mindfulness and wellness, because actually that's what I was going to point at na.
Yes.
Maybe we can elevate even yung health tourism into a different level, like looking at wellness. And we have here a lot of natural resources. People come to the Philippines to relax, rehabilitate, right? So now that we have all these anxieties from the pandemic, we see a few privileged people who are able to travel around the country, right? And hopefully with more borders opening, diba? Like with less cases, we'll be able to have more people go into all these wellness centers and especially capitalize on yung mga traditional medicines natin, because that's what I learned from the experience of our drivers, actually, because that's when I knew for a long time that Lagundi, sometimes I also use it as good for cough, diba? And then serpentina apparently for fever. But since our drivers have been using them, that's when I tried to study more and more about the science behind Lagundi and serpentina, which are actually apparently also approved by our Department of Health as medically certified alternative medicine. So because these are plants that we can grow here from the Philippines, and then of course in the OST, ang dami ng mga research studies about VCO as a potential medicine for COVID, diba? So we could integrate this into our health tourism so that people would come here to visit our farms and heal themselves in a holistic way. Diba?
Or also, aside from international tourists, local tourists, diba?
Yeah.
We build strong farms with specific harvest medicines or something like that. I'm not an expert.
Regions na iba-ibang mga produce. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know much about what each region grows. So I think this is a good opportunity to get to know more.
Yeah, and also na-mention nyo yung mga employees nyo, hindi nyo rin naman sila tinuruan. Marunong talaga sila. So I'm guessing right now, theoretically, kayang-kaya rin siya gawin ng iba't ibang regions. And I hope someday people would get to travel for that specific objective, to learn how to plant those specific medicinal plants.
Yes,
Nice. Wow.
because we're an agricultural country, so we just have to really upscale it and look at it from a broader point of view. Like, what else can we do, right, with what we've been planting, with what we have?
True. And talagang maximize, di ba? Milk whatever we have. So sa ating mga innovative viewers out there, ikaw, yes, mismo. So kung kayo ay nakaisip na ngayon, sulat nyo na, dali. Kasi habang bago matapos tong ating episode today. Anyway, how about you, Miss Olivia? How do you plan to grow or help communities in this global situation? Or let us take us to what you're doing right now.
Well, for us right now, during the pandemic, is rather difficult because, we can't really, for the liquor industry, we're kind of restricted. Hold on, because we had like liquor bans and all that, right? So we're not really in a phase where we could expand, diba? Because actually our industry contracted. But what we're doing is we're trying to help in terms of bringing more products to the market that can help. Like for instance, we recently had registered the Chinese medicine Lianhua Qingwen. And then it's supposed to help you relieve the symptoms of COVID. So parang these are the things we did in the meantime, no? But of course, we have to go back full scale after this pandemic. But we have done our homework. Even before the pandemic, we put out our, we're also part of the tourism campaign of the Philippines. We launched our museum, our Distillery Alimtuaco Museum in 2018. And so we're promoting tourism through our drinks, no? And we also have like a restaurant bar in El Nido. So parang wherever the tourists are, we're there. So we're there always to promote Filipino products. So kasi that's our advocacy. So in whatever we do, parang we have that in mind. We don't want to digress. That's our direction, and we keep going, towards achieving that objective. Kasi nga, if you're all over the place, mawalan ka ng focus. So I think if you want to be in business, so you gotta really have to know what you want to achieve, diba? Where you're good at, diba? Parang what are the resources? Because nga you asked earlier, what are the tips, diba? So parang it really is, what do you know? Parang what do you know? Parang what is your expertise? Kung marunong ka magluto ka, diba? Kung marunong ka gumawa ng alak, buwa ka ng alak. Tapos anong gusto mo? So for us, we really want to promote Philippines. So in whatever expansion programs we do, we always keep that in mind. Say if you're too diverse, you lose focus. And then of course, when you lose focus, it's gonna cost you money. Diba? Kasi parang gusto mo. Yes.
But with you, Miss Olivia, kasi you mentioned something about what are your strengths. So with you, ano po yung strengths ninyo na you considered that you were able to bridge to your business?
Well, for us, our expertise is really in making liquors, and we make liquors in accordance with international standards.
But how about you personally?
Personally, ako, well, I'm very entrepreneurial, and I think I would say, not naman that I want to, parang, yung magtayo ng sariling bangko, pero I think I have developed already strategic thinking capabilities. Kasi parang you have to really think strategically, because you don't have all the money in the world, no matter how big you are. Parang you always have naman finite resources. It's not infinite, right? So you have to really think strategically. And then, of course, you have to hone your problem-solving capabilities or abilities, because troubleshooting, problem-solving, every day in a businessman's or a businesswoman's life, we face that. Kaya nga sabi nga ni Madam Lourdes, di ba, kailangan hands-on. Hands-on meaning, lahat ng bagay papakialaman mo, kasi wala naman sa Philippines na na lahat automatic, na lahat pwede mo i-delegate.
Yeah.
And that's not our culture. Really here, if you want to succeed, you have to really be very, very hands-on talaga. Parang mother na nagpapatakbo ng pamilya, ng household. Ganun din, mas malaki lang yun sa organization.
Yeah.
So, yun talaga yung I would say na culturally, parang, well, being a woman here is an advantage, diba, in doing business, because we kind of like have to treat it as a family unit, diba? We're involved in every aspect. Of course, you have people to help you, but sometimes if you stop looking, they stop doing.
Yeah.
So once in a while, you gotta check on everybody. I don't know if the other entrepreneurs experience that, pero parang yung no news is good news is not really, it doesn't really work here. Sometimes no news is bad news. You think everything is going fine, but it isn't. So you have to really check on people every so often. So yun lang, I think you have to be an expert. Parang kasi sabi nila, di ba, ang businessman, jack of all trades. But actually, jack of all trades ka talaga, but you have to be a master of your business. So, I mean, if you are a shoemaker, you gotta be a master shoemaker. If you're an agri-entrepreneur, you must be a master in agriculture. Like for me, I'm master in my liquor making, di ba? But you have to know all the other aspects of the business as well. You have to know finance, admin, whatever. Lahat yan dapat may alam ka. Pero master ka of your line of business.
True. Thank you, Miss Olivia. And just to connect to what Gina said, na as you invest to human capital, I'll just connect it to what you said. Now, you invest time with them. You invest time on them by being hands-on, like what Miss Lourdes has mentioned. Now, Miss Lourdes, how about you? Sabi niyo po, nasa online classes na kayo ngayon. But how do you plan to grow or help communities in this global situation through your business?
Practically, holistic ang ginagawa ko. What we would go on. Now, we have moved on and then doing fine with the online learning of my students from preschool to grade 12. So it has gone 1 quarter already. So I can feel that I can move on to another venture. Like now, I am in urban farming with Suroptimis International of Nova Central. And I'm so happy that it's not really boring, so taxing. For me, I love to move out. When one is planted already, I move a little. Like when I have done something for the school, I move a little for the community. Little that I have, being the president now, the opportunity to do some livelihood learning. Like, for example, this bracelet. Can you see this? Okay. I have some samples that our community ladies, women and girls are making. It doesn't show. Yeah. Okay. I have bracelets here that we are teaching our community ladies, instead of doing nothing at home, they put all these beads together and they would,
Miss
generate
Lourdes,
funds.
and then you market them or yung gumagawa sila na rin po yung nagbebenta?
So what we do is we buy the products that they make. Okay?
Nice.
So
Tapos meron
they
lang po
do
silang
it at
quota
home.
each.
They do it at home. They do as fast as they can, collect and make. They get the materials from us, SI Nova Central, and then we buy their work, so they have an extra income at home while they're staying at home. They put all these beads together as a bracelet, as a the holder of the eyeglasses, neck holder. Okay, and this is very simple to do. We supply them with the flyers. Flyers.
Around how many women po yung inyong natatap sa community?
We have last meeting in the launching, we had 30 women.
Wow.
Okay, so
thank you,
these 30 women, they're adding more. They have their children at home. They have their grade 12 in their family, grade 10 who can do this bead work, and they can do it well at home without no hassle of getting a sewing machine or heavy equipment. All they
kasi
need
bracelet lang naman eh.
All they need is
scissors.
cutter. No, it's a cutter and long nose pliers.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lourdes.
And now I'm so interested about urban farming. Maybe they can help me do some. I need more help, and I would like to ask some visit. I have the lot, the vacant lot. SI Nova Central is now preparing the lot for all these vegetables. How nice I would be putting a lagundi, just like Ma'am Regine is doing. Medicine for agri-health tourism program. I'm just looking forward that we grow. Then we move to Pampanga because we have a farm there and it's still empty. Okay, we have gazebo there. You can have seminars there in Pampanga, loose farm, but we can introduce farming in that area. So I'm looking for a partner who can do that with Ma'am Regine. Maybe. Well, you send me your email address now, Ma'am Regine. We get in touch and then we share each other's and CEO Olivia with Ma'am Edith. And of course, Aya, you can visit our farm soon.
Of course,
and then
I would love to.
We share it to the tourists. Why not, di ba?
Why
Let's
not
dream
po?
big.
Yes, of
Let's
course.
dream big. Why not?
Di ba? Nagkaroon pa po tayo ng network dito sa ating episode. Thank you, Ms. Lourdes. And ako, I look forward to visiting your farm in Pampanga soon. Di ba? Maganda
we put
yan.
things together, all heads together. And we do training because I am operating a school. So we can package modules to train women and girls.
Di ba meron silang mga track? So kahit hindi agricultural yung track, is included in the curriculum. Maybe you can also do, you mentioned also as well. Thank you, Ms. Lourdes. How about you, Ms. Edith? Sis Edith, how are you ensuring the operation?
I'd like to invite you also to, you were saying?
How are you ensuring the operation of your businesses to be safe, assuming that your business requires mobilization of workers? So how do you keep the workers safe or yourself safe?
I'm a government employee. And the International Marian Association of Dar is a nonprofit organization. So we just do fundraising activities. At the Dar, I work as an economist. To make things resilient, we have to form a synergy with people who are into sustainability works. And hopefully we could also engage more people to be employed.
How about in your
get back in the workforce?
How about in your publishing business with Sis Edith?
No, I'm into research. Actually, this platform that we are starting for the theme, Bouncing Back the Economy Forward Towards Resilient Synergies, we hope we could document this and all the win-win strategies put into a book. Maybe CEO Olivia could help us with the publishing works later or sometime when you're not too busy. I understand there's a lot of pressure in your work, and I'm so happy that you're considering to discuss possible linking up with our agrarian reform communities. So this is a good start. And with your help, Miss Aya, and your program, we would like to visit more communities and get them more involved into resilient measures that would not only be work, but fun as we travel along, take this journey and ride as we bounce back in the slow opening of our economy here in the country and in the globe.
Yeah. That makes me more proud of being a Filipino. Thank you, Sis Edith, for that. Now, Mr. Jean, paano sa tingin niyo tayo makakabangon in our own ways? Like, paano tayo sama-samang babangon from your own experience? Yan.
Maging plantito at plantita. Grow your own food. So actually,
yes.
Really, it goes back to going back to the basics actually. Di ba? Yun yung natutunan ko as a young person during the pandemic, na yung mga tinuturo ng mga older generations practices, traditional practices that we have. These are things we often take for granted in the previous consumerist world that we were so busy, right? So yung going back to the basics, I think that's what will eventually save us, like to look after what we eat, so that's why we have to try to grow our own food kung maaari, and then also what we consume, lessen our consumption, diba? So we can also contribute to the planet para disaster risk proof. Kasi apart from pandemic, meron din may mga bagyo. So double risks tayo na we're at the Pacific Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, go back to the basics.
Go back to the basics, and guys, maghalaman na tayong lahat. Kasi nakakahiya kung Pilipino ka, tapos hindi ka marunong magtanim. Di ba? Like, nakakahiya, parang kung Pinoy ka, pero hindi ka marunong magtanim. Parang may disconnect. Thank you, Miss Regine. How about you, Miss Olivia? From your own experience, from your vast experience, paano niyo po sa tingin, paano tayo babangon, sama-samang babangon sa palagay ninyo?
Okay, depende kung nasaang state tayo, di ba? Like for us kasi, hindi naman kami tumigil. So, continuation business namin. Pero may mga industries talaga natatamaan, di ba? So, I think you have to rethink. Temporary ba siya o permanent na wala na talaga yung opportunity to go back to business. Pag-isipan mo, pag alanganin, kailangan maghanap ka na ng alternative. Anong direction na next ito-take mo? Depende kasi, di ba? So, yung iba, like kunyari, may restaurant, nag-take out sila, okay naman yun. Pero kung talagang hindi na talaga viable na magbabayad ka ng upa, kasi pag wala kang upa, madali eh. Pero if you're paying for rent, it's really very taxing on the business if you can't operate full capacity, if people aren't going out to eat. Like for our restaurant bar, it's still closed. Kasi wala namang pumupunta, di ba? So parang may businesses talaga na mahirap. So you have to rethink, do I continue and lose more money? Do I cut my losses? Diba? Do I shift to another line of business? Depende kasi sa'yo yun eh. Kung anong, she said, human capital, anong kakayahan mo, financial capital, hanggang saan ang pera mo. Diba? So, kung short ka na sa funds, pwede ka naman, gamitin mo muna yung human capital mo. Kung magaling ka magbenta, pwede ka naman mag-ahente. Walang puhunan yon, sarili mo lang yon, diba?
Trading lang yun.
Oo, kasi kesa ipilit mo na magnegosyo ka na nagbabayad ka ng upa, ng resort, ng raw material, ng tao na hindi mo naman mapibenta, bakit mo ipipilit yun, di ba? Depende. Pwede ka naman bumalik ulit in the future. So, basta importante na whatever you do, kikita ka. Huwag kayong mag-move na malulugi ka. Kasi malulubog ka, pati pamilya mo, kawawa. Diba? So, kailangan practical tayo. Masakit man, minsan parang yan ang na-learn ko sa negosyo. Minsan we have to be realist. Tanggapin mo yung realidad na nasa harap mo. Tapos anong gagawin mo? Kahit na masakit, kahit na nasasaktan ka, na nasasaktan yung pride mo or ano, 'di ba? Hindi naman sinabi na forever titigil ka. Parang meron ka lang interim plan, other ways. And then you wait for the time that you can come back, or you have to reinvent yourself, or you have to go into another line. So there are many opportunities, but yung pinaka-importante, you have to get back on track. Maybe it's not the same track as you were before. You had to take another track, but so get back on track, diba? And start making money.
Ang ganda. Pati ako naiiyak po. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Olivia. Miss Lourdes, based po sa naranasan nyo, paano po sa tingin nyo tayo sama-samang babangon sa panahon ngayon?
Sa tiyaga at move on. At saka wag magpatalo. Basta mag-isip. Abang buhay ka, nag-iisip ka kung paano ka maghanap ng extra income. Okay, extra income. Halimbawa lang, dito sa school, hindi mo sasabihin na nag-enroll lahat ng mga estudyante ko. Lumipat sila sa public school. So what happened? Naiwan kami, I still have. You know? But hindi ka mukha ng dati na marami, now limited lang. For other teachers who were laid out kasi walang estudyante. So what do we have to do? Like me, I would move on by having my rented stalls. Around the school, I created openings for stalls for women to add income to them. At the same time, add income to my school. So, may stall, may tea, milk tea selling, merong tacos selling, pizza pie
But you're
selling,
giving them the platform,
kakanin,
diba, to sell and have their own ventures.
Yes, for them to venture into something that is income generating.
Mm-hmm.
And for the women that we are into sa Soroptimist, we are into teaching them livelihood at saka urban planting. In their house, as I was able to distribute seedlings to these women. We have an incentive for them. Pag nakatubo sila ng how many inches, they show it to us and they get cash. Okay? And that's their incentive. So that each of the women around us who would come and ask for seedlings, we give them. And these seedlings were actually donated by City Mayor Joy Belmonte. A tie-up program that we have in her urban farming.
That's a very good project because you give an incentive for their extra effort. And so they will be more encouraged to do more. Thank you.
Yes, they will be doing more and more.
How about you, Miss Edith? From your experience, paano po sa tingin niyo tayo sama-samang makakabangon?
Bangon Pilipinas. Yes, that's the battle cry now. Sometimes also when you step back and relax, that's the time you get to think about what your next move would be. So before investing your effort, your time, and your resources into new ventures, maybe we should study the market, find out where we can invest these limited resources that we have, and stay resilient. We could start by helping our environment, providing for our needs. If we have vegetables in our gardens, then we don't have to buy everything in the market. Also, this mode for work from home and online selling, it's taking a big boost. In fact, even in the stock market, it's the internet facilities and telecoms that are picking up in the market. So find your niche while you're taking a slow turn in the economy. And probably during that time, you would find where you would really fit in. And of course, you have to invest in prayers too. No matter how busy you are, take time out to pray. Okay?
Oh, thank you so much, Sis Edith. Dito sa GPSTV, we always remind you, coming from the inspiring, empowered women entrepreneurs, to hashtag Go Safe, Go Travel,
Go travel.
Go travel.
Go Philippines,
Go Philippines.
Soar High.
Soar high.
Yay!
Soar
Thank
high.
you so much, Miss Olivia,
Thank
Miss
you.
Lourdes, Miss Regine, Sis Edith. Maraming salamat po for your time and for your wisdom. I pray you more power. I pray that you'd be able to inspire more people like me. At kayo rin sa mga nanonood, sana kayo rin ay na-touch at ako, muntikan pa akong maiyak. Thank you so much. Mabuhay na mabuhay po kayong lahat. And thank you again for accepting the invitation of GPS TV. Thank you so much, everyone. Sa YouTube, sa Facebook, who join in our conversation today. That was truly a value-adding experience, diba? Thank you also, of course, to Hotel Sales and Marketing Association, or HSMA, the Department of Tourism, and the Tourism Promotions Board for making this show possible. Sana marami kayong natutunan at nalaman tungkol sa safe and mindful traveling in connection to innovative and sustainable livelihood and businesses. Always plan your trips and consider the health situation of your family, your resources, and the location you're going to. Syempre, on top yan ng strict medical protocols so that everyone can safely enjoy it. Na-discuss natin yan sa mga previous episodes. Now, so that everyone can safely enjoy, including the rest of the people around you. Talagang may papakita natin ng bayanihan sa pamamagitan ng pagiging mapagmatsyag na manlalakbay. Always remember that to everyone to have a worry-free travel experience. We have to hashtag go safe, go travel, go safe before we go travel. Until the next flight, this has been your online travel buddy, Aya Fernandez. Watch out for more episodes and see you only here on GPS TV. Go Philippines! Soar high! Mabuhay po tayong lahat!